All right, what's up, everyone? We are live on Closing Dime YouTube and SharpMoney Twitch and Twitter account. We have Jeff Mathwins with us and Brayton, our moderator here. While you guys are rolling in, I'm just going to go over some of my picket stats for the year, the month, the week, and then Jeff will go over some of his, and then Brayton can touch on his too. So Jeff has a real interesting chart this month, so that's why we're saving him for second. While you guys get in here, I'll show you mine. So all time, I just crossed $50,000 this month, so that was a real big milestone for me. On the year, I just crossed 30,000 with a close to a 5% ROI. This is all EV betting. I don't do any personal plays, strictly EV betting. I've hit one $1,000 parlay. That's the only long shot bet I hit. You can see this is slow growth over the course of the year, and we're only about 9 months in, so we still have time to grow here. I would love to get this to about $40,000 in profit. If we look at the month, we can look at some of the leagues that we've been betting. NFL has been real hot this month. This is where most of my profits came from. I did hit that $1,000 parlay early in the month, and that was from NFL. So really, EV betting, I'm up about 1,300. MLB has been great. A lot of mixed reviews here, but up. We'll look at this, just pull it separately, but about 3% ROI, $910 there. Sports books, I'm limited on a lot of books, so typically I just stick to FanDuel and DraftKings where I get the most bets off. DraftKings is actually struggling, but I know long term with DraftKings, if we look at pull out for the year, almost 7% ROI in DraftKings. So just because I'm down this month doesn't mean I need to make any adjustments. It just means we're getting a little unlucky here. So that's basically, we'll look at my 1 week too. So this is a good turnaround for me. 22% ROI, 60 and 56. So we've been doing really good. The NFL prop bot has been pretty profitable, and pretty much every market we are doing good on this month for myself, at least. So I'll switch over the screen to Jeff, and he can kind of talk about his wild ride this month. All right, so that's your screen.
What's up, guys? Welcome in. Yeah, I shared this in the premium section of our Discord earlier today, just to kind of show, what a ride on EV betting can be like. The reality with EV betting is if you have an edge, you're going to be profitable long term. But the reality is also that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You're going to have ups and downs. You can see my month here. We have over 3,000 in profits. But at one point on September, 13th, 14th here, I think I was even lower on the 14th. But you're talking about down over $7,000. And then from September 13th till now, up over 3,000. So you're talking about over a $10,000 swing, 15 days of really bad results, and then 15 days of really, really good results. And this is just variance in EV betting. We're betting such small edges to the books that you're going to have stretches where you go really cold, and you have weak stretches where you feel like you can't win a bet. And then the last 2 weeks has felt like I can't lose a bet. If I hop over to the calendar over here, you look at these last 2 weeks, I mean, you're talking about 2 red days since the 14th. So just crazy different results here, and just something that you have to understand if you're going to get into EV betting and be in it for a long time. This week, I told you guys it's been really hot for me. You're talking about almost a 20% ROI just this week alone. And something like this, like you look at this and you're like, say, hey, you're only up 3,500 for the entire month and you've made 3,500 in this week. This is why you have to kind of zoom out when you're an EV bettor. If you're focusing on day-to-day results, even like 1 week at a time, the shifts and the streaks that you can go on, you really have to zoom out and look, hey, what am I doing from a monthly standpoint? What am I doing from a yearly standpoint? That's going to be where you see that 3-ish% edge that we're looking for against the books long term versus 1 week at a time. Because, members can come in and this is why we do this kind of thing. Members can come in, and if you just followed my bets and you came in on September 1st and you left after the first 2 weeks on the 14th, it's like, man, this style of betting sucks. It's not for me. It's like, no, you have to just commit to it and understand that you're going to have ups and downs. If you would have followed me the entire month, you'd be up over the course of a month versus just a 1 or 2 week stretch.
Yeah, it's a good point there. Brayton just shared with me too some of his stats this month, so we'll touch on that quick. I'll share just this picture he just sent me. Can you see that there? I'm assuming you guys can. Brayton's.
I think you're still on my screen.
We're still on. Yeah.
All right, cool. So this is Brayton's month here. If you want to talk us through it a little bit, go ahead, Brayton.
Oh yeah. So the month started off. It was rough for the first 10 days or so. It was rough, and I was down a good bit. Probably one of the larger losing streaks that I've had. But slowly, it's come back, and it really, the chart looks really nice with a 4% ROI, up about 18 units. So very happy on how the month has kind of turned out from where it started. But yeah, I like looking at the chart to realize how the ride's not smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's not a smooth ride.
Well, let's look at.
But it is profitable.
I'll pull up the other. This is your all-time that you sent, and it looks like a smooth ride kind of when you look at a big picture. But whatever you experienced from this peak right here down there, I'm pretty sure you said that was like a 30-unit drop, and
it was a 30-unit drop. Yeah,
yeah,
and it coincided with me, changing my unit from I think $75 to about $100. So I went on a pretty big losing streak from I think it was August 12th to September 10th or so, and but slowly climbing back. And so where that peak was before that dip, we're right back to where it was from the beginning of or mid-August. So hopefully I'd like to see the next couple of days profitable and have it potentially could be one of my better months I've had. So
yeah, nice. All right,
what are you guys looking like for volume today?
Let's see. I'll pull it up right here in my calendar. So I'll go to calendar here. For today, I have 6.3K out. How many bets is that? Where does it show my bets?
If you go
77 bets open for today, 47 for tomorrow. A lot of my bets are like, because I'm limited on the book, so I'll double bet like the same thing if it gets flagged across a lot of books. So that's probably why I have a lot more volume than most people. But
I was about to ask that question because last night you had maybe 40. At 8 p.m. you had 40, so you doubled the amount of bets in 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No, I had a lot of time to place bets yesterday and this morning. So, all right, I'm gonna hop over to our Discord page. We have some questions posted here that we will go over. So let's see. I'll scroll up. There were some really good ones here. Phantom said that he says, I'm a strict follower of the Kelly betting, but sometimes I notice that the smaller bets I place tend to beat the CLV by a larger margin than the larger bets. I get that line movement is unpredictable, but is there anything that we can do in these cases? Is this something that just comes with experience? And I would say yes to. So the reason that your smaller bets are probably beating CLV better is most likely they are bets that are like really plus money, like plus 180 or something like that. So the Kelly criteria is going to recommend you betting a smaller unit size because the win probability is lower. So that's kind of just how the formula works. So I typically see that we get the most value when we're betting those plus 180 plus 170 odds. So that's kind of what I think is going on with that. But just understanding how the charts are moving, and it is impossible to predict exactly how the books are going to move, but the charts give us a really good chance of guessing the right way. So it does just come with experience. I try to adjust my betting, like I'll round up if it's a good chart. Like if half Kelly is saying to bet 3/4 of a unit, but the chart is good and it's a chart that I think will gain value, then I'll probably round it up to about 1 unit. Let's see what else we have for questions. I think we only have a couple here. Do you want to answer this one, Jeff? Can you see this?
Yeah, I got it up too. So Kenny asks, just more about limits than anything. Like, how can you find limits? What are the limits like on props? And can you identify like limits for offshores? So a couple things with this, like with props in general, limits are pretty heavy across the market, no matter whether it's a sharp book or whether it's a retail book. And that's why we play market average for most of our props, is because we're trying to get a good sense of just kind of where the books think the line should be versus playing heavy action by sharps, because sharps can't play heavy action anywhere really because of the limits. I know you mentioned Bovada specifically here. I have no idea what Bovada's limits are, but Bovada is notorious for limiting profitable bettors almost like instantly. Like I think I was on Bovada for maybe less than a month before I got like what we would call death limits, where you can't play more than a couple dollars. So I wouldn't trust their sharpness at all, because anybody who is a sharp can't play any money on their platform. Where if you're looking for like what limits are, Penny Odds Dropper is a great place to go for pinnacle limits. And then Spank Odds is a great place to go for circa limits. Spank Odds, you can get on there for free and see circa limits over there. Penny Odds Dropper, you need a monthly membership to see their limits, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, those are two really good resources to use for sure. Let's scroll down a little bit. All right, here's another live stream question that was posted here. Crypto said, I've noticed that a small percentage of my bets end up becoming negative EV by the time the game starts. Do you guys check your bets right before the game start to make sure they're still worth taking? If so, what kind of numbers would you need to see for you to cash out of a pregame bet for a loss? So we've touched on cash outs for the most part. When you're EV betting, you're not going to beat the closing line, all the time. Like I said, to be profitable, you just need to beat the no vig fair odds closing line over 50% of the time, and you should be profitable. So almost half the time, hopefully a little less than half the time, your bet might not even be a positive EV play by game time. So there are a couple sports books that actually let you cash out of your bet for your full wager. I believe MGM and ESPN are the two off the top of my head. Can you guys think of the other ones? I think there's a couple more.
MGM, I know for sure.
Yeah, MGM and ESPN bet. Even if the market moved against you, they still let you cash out for full value. So typically I only recommend cashing out if it's on those two books. You also have the question of, do we look back and see, before the game starts, if we were beating the closing line? And I always like to go through my Pickett account and just click on each bet and see where the value kind of has moved, just so I have a sense of, if they were good bets or not. So, but basically when you're cashing out, the reason the sports books offer a cash out is because it's a negative EV play, or it's something that they want you to do. So essentially, if you have a negative EV play and say it's only projecting you to lose, 3% of that bet, it's not worth cashing out and taking a guaranteed loss of, 5% of your bet. So pretty much all the time, you should never cash out.
Yeah, and they do. I know EV Adams posted it in the Discord before, but they do offer a cash out calculator where you can put in your odds and what they're offering as a cash out, and it'll actually show you how negative EV your cash out opportunity is. Maybe if we can find that again, we'll throw it in the Discord or highlight it again. But I know it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's if it's a large wager and it's something you have the time to look into, go ahead. But you're probably only saving fractions of percentages by doing that and wasting a lot of time. So when it comes to how much time you're putting in to find these and cash out for slight losses instead of bigger losses, might not be worth it in the end. But
I basically let everything ride. Once I put it in, I kind of just let the chips fall.
Yeah,
I will say that if let's say you place the bet on one side and then later in the day it flags it for the other side, as long as it's not a bad like reverse middle to where you could lose both bets, I will take the other side once it becomes EV and just let the other one ride. So it's like you've either got a small profit one way or a small loss one way, kind of hedging your losses, versus what I would not recommend doing is kind of creating that reverse middle to where a score or a spread can fall in between them and you lose both bets and then you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah, I try to avoid that too. But yeah, I'll bet the opposite side if it's a positive EV play to a play that I already had. So
Same.
I'll talk about, we mentioned this yesterday. I streamed last night. Let's see if we can find a play here. Oh, this is a really good play right here. But we'll talk about the little update that we made for our college sports DVIG process. So before, we were our main bot used Circa, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle as the sharp books when it came to finding college sports. But with a little research we've done, we realized that Pinnacle is not that sharp in college sports. So we've basically cleared the weight of Pinnacle off of our DVIG process. So now if you see a college play pop up and there's a Bookmaker or Circa line, it's going to be DVIG'd with those two books. And if you're just seeing a Pinnacle line show up, it's not just a DVIG to Pinnacle. It's a DVIG to Pinnacle with a bunch of the retail books. So if you just see a Pinnacle line on a college bet, we were originally telling people to just avoid those, but they should be good to go now because it's factoring in a lot of retail books on top of it.
I would still play the Circa Bookmaker DVIGs with more confidence than I would the Pinnacle, but now the Pinnacle ones, you are getting an edge versus to where before it was questionable.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find
we just had a nice tennis play ping on FanDuel. I just smashed that one up.
Yeah, we have good play here. We have about 2.75% EV here. FanDuel kind of just spiked up. Pinnacle is really, really sharp on tennis. So we're getting a 2.75% EV with like 40% win probability. You can get this at plus 155 on FanDuel, and Pinnacle right now is only offering plus 138. So a lot of value there.
Dime, you want to hop over to the live stream questions? Blue Ice just threw a screenshot in there talking about a bet, whether it's good or not.
Okay, so this is a kind of what we just explained too. This is showing the Pinnacle odds, but this chart is also factoring in retail books because it is a college bet. One thing we've always talked about too is this is a first quarter bet here, so the markets aren't as sharp. So typically I like to see a little bit of a higher EV than 1.6%. Probably I'm looking day of, since this game is only an hour away, the lines are probably a little sharper than they were a couple days ago. So I typically would probably look for like a 2% play here. I think this is kind of one of those, you can play it if you want. There's no real direction here. So yeah, it's a play that I might take, but I wouldn't recommend someone maybe just starting out to take these low EV plays in these smaller markets, because first quarter, first half markets, they're not going to be as sharp as full game. So if you see a full game spread or total pop up with a 1% EV, I would be smashing it. But the first quarter, first half stuff, a little bit harder to predict the actual value there. So this is something that, I can't fully recommend, but I wouldn't tell you not to take it either. How do you guys feel on this one?
I believe I took it on maybe another book. It looks familiar, so I would take it day of.
Yeah, I think day of is kind of the deciding factor here. I wouldn't play this. I definitely wouldn't play this. Wouldn't have played this yesterday.
Yeah, this one I think I'm not completely avoiding it, but I'm also not in love with it. So it's kind of one of those 50-50s. It's still, I think you get value playing this, but I think it's a really small edge and one of the bets that's going to have more variance than some of the other ones that we take.
Yeah. I did take this earlier at plus 105.
Okay, so you got good value on it. You got great value. Now you probably got like 3-4%
EV. Bucky, I saw you said tennis odds are dead. That's the other thing with tennis, my guy, is tennis lines move so fast. I would say probably half the tennis plays that I try to play are dead by the time that I try to play them. If you can get to tennis plays off, I think all of us have had great results with tennis, but Pinnacle, everybody's always, when Pinnacle, usually everybody's trying to jump to Pinnacle. So if Pinnacle moves, everybody's really quick to follow them. And that's why it's hard to get tennis plays off.
I'll show you my tennis results for all time, but I guess we can just look at this year. So when it comes to volume, it's actually pretty low. When I have 200 and 30 bets basically, which is nothing for an EV better. But this ROI is insane, close to 20%. So if you can get the tennis plays in, they're really good. They're, like I said, they're tough to grab. So you might only be able to get, half the bets that actually ping because the lines are so good and the books adjust them so quick. But tennis is very profitable. I know Brayton was killing tennis too.
But I was taking more plays that are with a higher likelihood to hit. So just recently I've played higher odds and with mixed results. But I think overall it's been great. It's very profitable.
Here's a play that just pinged on FanDuel. I'll be taking this one right now. Actually, Indiana minus 5.5, minus 140. We have Pinnacle at minus 142, but it looks like the retail books are obviously priced much lower here. So this is a play that I'll grab. So we can get it in. Hopefully it doesn't move. Yeah, so still at minus 140 on FanDuel. We'll see if I can get some money on it. The plays, we have this question asked a lot too, is when the best time is to find plays. And I would say a few hours before the game is definitely the most ideal time to be betting. The lines are sharper, come closer to game time. So it's a lot of promos today too. I don't think I've touched yet, so I got to get back to those.
Yeah, everybody loves the lottos. I posted a couple lottos out this morning.
I'll touch on this new feature we added a week or two ago too. But so we just added. We have a lot of new EV bettors that join this Discord, and a lot of what we're talking probably sounds nonsense to you if you're not familiar with EV betting. So we had a lot of people joining the Discord and kind of feeling lost. We've been doing a lot of live streams. I have a ton of YouTube videos explaining it all, but it's really overwhelming when you first join the Discord. So we added this new feature to where when I place a bet, I reply to it and I send it down into my call out channel. So this channel right here under call outs for obviously Closing Dime, that's me. It shows every bot play that I have taken. So you guys can basically tail the bets and get notifications for the bets that I take. We have the same thing set up for James plays and Matt wins. So you can pick one of us, you can pick all three of us to tail. We all been positive EV betting for a while and have really good results. So we're all pretty safe to tail, but just something good for the new users. Jeff, you want to talk about the new game we might be adding in probably tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. So we're going to start something in the Discord to give you guys, both premium and free members, a chance to
show off your skills and potentially win some free memberships or some gear. But we're going to start doing a pick the score contest for probably primetime NFL games. We still got to nail down all the details. But essentially what we're going to do is say for primetime Sunday Night Football will probably be the first one we run out. You guys are going to be able to try and predict the score of the game with the winning team. And then also we're going to give you a player prop to guess along with it, whether it's, passing yards or rushing yards, something like that. And if you guess the score correctly, you're going to have an opportunity to win some prizes. We're going to use that player prop side as like a tiebreaker if two people guess the same score. If you guess both of them, we may have like a jackpot prize, but just something fun to do within the Discord, give you guys some opportunity to earn some bragging rights with each other, and just have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. So we have, if you don't know, we have this in the community chat for free. We have the Fame or Shame game, which was basically if someone could pick 5 picks in a row, we would give them a free membership. And we've been running this for a long time, and no one's really.
You guys suck at this game.
Yeah, so we want to give away some free memberships. We're ordering some T-shirts now, so we want to give away some merch. So you guys aren't doing us any favors. You guys can't pick 5 in a row, unfortunately.
Didn't we have someone that picked 4 in a row?
Yeah, I think we had only.
We've had a couple 4 in a row, or a couple people make it to day 4. I don't know if anybody's even made it to day 5, but yeah.
Yeah. Vubar's on day 3 here. He's got South Alabama plus 20.5. So this was his pick here. But yeah, essentially we'll probably be picking, Thursday night football, Monday night.
Especially Jake said we're trying, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say you weren't trying. I just said you suck at this game.
Yeah,
Both can be true.
yeah. Yeah, so it'll be like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Sunday night. We'll make a channel, and if you guys can guess the correct score, I think we'll probably if you're already a premium member, we'll probably send you some merch, and if you're not a premium member, we'll probably give you a free month or something like that. So, should be fun. Hopefully, someone can actually win a prize here.
I'm playing too, so if I win, I want something.
That's true. Yeah, we get to steal our merch back. All right, any more good pings popping up?
It's been a little slow the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I feel like maybe with the change in the college bot, we might be picking up. We're definitely picking up a lot less pings, but the quality of the pings are going to be really, really good, I think.
Correct.
I'll go over to, does Pickett show that like projected number on the
Yes.
webpage? Does it
Yes,
show it
it
on
does.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yep.
So let me switch over to. So this is only when you have the Pickett Premium, which is what, extra $40 a month. I don't necessarily know if it's worth it, but for me, when I'm streaming, it's cool to be able to pull up my Pickett page and show people. But this is a cool little feature they have here. So I have almost $7,000 out, and they're projecting me to make $600 because I'm beating CLV so much. Look at that, I already just went up. So that's a really cool feature that they have. I don't know how accurate these projections really are, but it just goes to show you that I have really good closing line value on a lot of the bets that I've been placing. So we had a lot of baseball bets out there today, along with college football, but we'll probably be seeing a lot of pings for the later games throughout the day too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think now might be a good time to hit kind of what's on the horizon too, give these guys an idea of what's going to be coming out soon in terms of products. So just so you guys know, I think NHL starts October 8th, I want to say, is opening night for NHL. We will be adding NHL to the main bot, so that'll be up hopefully within the next week or so. And then we also will be coming out with an NHL prop bot, just like our NFL prop bot. Those are the two next things to come out, just because that NHL season starts next. And then NBA is, I think opening night for NBA is a little over 3 weeks away. That's October 22nd. So just after NHL kicks off, we'll be adding NBA lines to the main bot as well. And then we'll have an NBA prop bot coming out too. So we'll have NFL, NHL, NBA prop bots, and then all that stuff will be available on the main bot as well. For the main lines will be available on the main bot.
Yep. It's going to get crazy when we have all 4 major sports going on. We're going to have a lot of bots working hard. I think we already have multiple bots that run kind of each different market. I think we have 30, 40 bots that are actually running all of the plays that pop up. So we're probably adding a lot more in the near future. I'm excited for the NHL props though. I haven't done too many props for the NHL and my past history, but market average should work pretty good against those. We'll see if anyone's a little sharper. Like FanDuel is typically a little sharper on NBA, so we'll make adjustments if we need to. The one good thing too I was thinking of for the NHL is, or when our NFL prop bot, sometimes we miss a lot of props because the lines have to match up. So if it's like Patrick Mahomes over 239 passing yards and the other books have 240, then we're not comparing those odds and not finding plays. But for the NHL, all the props are shots on goals, goals, assists. All those are really low numbers, so we shouldn't be missing anything on those prop bots. So that'll be fun. Same with NBA. You're not having these crazy 300 passing yard prices that need to match up. So
Mylon 999, fame or shame. If you go to the Discord, there's a channel for it. We select a member every day for fame or shame, and then that one person has a chance to hit 5 days in a row with a single pick. Yeah. So can't just hit 5 and then post it and show us. It's got to be you got to be selected, and you can enter the drawing every day.
Yeah,
but check out the channel in the Discord.
Jeff, have you been hitting? We've been having I didn't even realize this, but a lot of Fanatics plays pop up for hitter props or baseball.
So I've
really
been trying not to play any player props on Fanatics to try and preserve my limits over there. So
yeah.
I've just been playing straight main bot stuff over there because I know people have had Fanatics just kind of smash them in terms of limits. But I know you can. Their player props are way off.
Scotty asked a question here too. Or no, sorry, Blue Ice said, sorry, late to the party. Can you go over the ranking of sharp books for college sports? So yeah, basically, I think circa it really depends on how much action they're taking. Whoever has the highest limits is essentially going to be the sharper book. It's not necessarily that the book is sharp, but it's that the people they let bet into their lines are sharp, and they shape their lines and odds based on the action they're getting. But Circa seems to have like the best openers. I would rank Circa number 1, bookmaker number 2, and then I wouldn't even say Pinnacle is sharp. I would honestly probably think FanDuel or some of the other bigger retail books are just as sharp as Pinnacle. We went over last stream too that FanDuel for some of the smaller markets like first quarter, first half, they actually have really high limits. So they might be kind of sharp in those smaller markets, but when it comes to the main markets, full game stuff, the bookmaker and Circa are far superior than everyone. It's not even close. And that'll be with all college sports. So when we have college basketball start up, Circa bookmaker, they're still the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd even say it's like Circa 1A, bookmaker 1B, and then the rest of the field after that.
Yeah,
I think bookmaker's pretty on par with Circa. I do agree Circa's a little bit ahead of them.
It seems like the openers are what like kind of sets them apart. I don't know why, but it's always just been talked that the Circa openers are really, really good. Here's a baseball ping. If anyone wants to get on it, I'll probably place this. We have the Angels versus Rangers. This is later tonight, 9:30, but this is a full game spread here. So under 7 at plus 165 on MGM. Looks like Pinnacle just opened their odds here. This is the Pinnacle line, and they're priced at 151. So 14 cents value there, 2% EV. This is about 3/4 of a unit play. We already see that MGM has dropped from 170 down to 165. So they're already kind of on that move. I'm going to go try placing this bet, see if I can get anything off. So it's still there at 165, which is nice. We'll see how much money they'll let me bet. Some of the main lines for MGM, I can still get off like 30, 40 bucks, but props, I'm down to nothing. $50 max bet for me on this under 7, so that's not bad. Me and Jeff were talking before we started the stream that on baseball, we're actually able to get off decent in size on MGM, but when it comes to football, college football and stuff, we're really struggling to get more than $10 off. Yeah, so same bet kind of pinged on a lot of books here.
Mm-hmm.
Pinnacle.
It's funny. There's been joking with a lot of people in the Discord the last week about how baseball sucks, and I just keep betting the great graphs anyways. I finally, for guys that have been struggling with that, I finally found the solution how to not bet baseball at the end of the season. Just unload your entire bankroll on college football and NFL, and then you got nothing left to bet.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Speaking about unloading your bankroll, we were talking too, like Fanatics is kind of, I took all my money out of there for the most part. I probably only left under $1,000 in that account because I wasn't able to get big bets on them. But now with these NFL lines and college football lines, they're taking, $100 wagers for me. So I emptied my Fanatics bankroll a little earlier in the week, and I might have to move some money around to get more money back in Fanatics. So I withdrew some money from there. That might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I just had to cash out some or withdraw some from my FanDuel account so I could reload some Fanatics. They've got some great college lines to bookmaker and Circa.
Yeah, a lot of props too, like crazy amount of props.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any NFL props pinging right now, but
hey, BBT, I just looked at the NFL props. Everything's live, so we're just not having any value right now. But that should really pick up kind of later today and into tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so I'll go over another point too. If you just bought the NFL prop and you see this channel, we get this question all the time. It looks like it's empty or that it's, it says it's a private channel. If you're seeing the channels, you have access to them. It just means there's no available plays right now. The bot clears any dead bets. So you have to make sure your notifications are on for your books. We have, a way to set that up so you can get a text right to your phone that there's an EV play available. And then if you don't hit that line within a few minutes, sometimes they clear right out. So that's with any EV bet, you need to hit it fast. So yeah, there's nothing going on there right now. I already have a decent amount of player props in for this weekend. I think on Sunday we really find a lot. Hopefully we should start seeing some pop up tonight too.
Yeah, usually within like 24 hours of game time, you'll get quite a few pings for the NFL player prop bot. So
yeah, the books aren't releasing all of their lines that early. So day of,
that's the biggest thing is because we play a market average. There's some books that wait until all the injury news comes out before they even release lines. Like usually your FanDuel and your DraftKings have lines out pretty early, and even they'll wait to release some. But when we're playing market average, we want books to compare those, like a FanDuel to or a DraftKings to. So that's why it's kind of 24 hours before and not pinging like crazy all week like the main bot is.
Yep. There's another graph that is interesting here. This is something we could adjust to or one tweak that I would probably like to make in the future. But when you see these, there's one knife listed here, which means there's one sharp book factored into this equation. If you look down on our chart here, we're not picking up the odds of the sharp book, but this chart only does historical data for us. So sometimes we're not able to grab historical data for whatever reason from our API, but trust the numbers up here. So this is a DVIG with one sharp book, and we see, BetMGM isn't moving in some weird way. So either the sharp book is dropping or they just opened up lower. That's kind of the assumption you need to make. I think something we could probably make an adjustment on is maybe in the stats, we show the odds of the sharp book below in this text box so that when we do have these kind of errors, you can reference, because I don't even know which book this is using. So that's something I'd like to probably change going forward. But we're adding so much stuff right now with the NHL and NBA. So we'll fix some of these small bugs in the future. But this is still a play I would take. Really good value here. Let's see if I can get it in.
Solar just had a good question. How do you bet EV plays that have several spreads? For example, Jets +7, Jets +7.5, etc. Do you play all of them or take the highest spread? The way I would attack this, Solar, is if you can get off your bet, like let's say the +7.5 calls for a 1 unit play and you're not limited, you can get off that 1 unit play. I would play for a beginning person, just the highest EV one that there is. If you're limited, it's okay to make like a ladder. So let's say like you're limited to a quarter unit, play 3 or 4 of them if they're all EV and make a nice little ladder for the game. You can play the ladder at the normal units. It's more aggressive, and understand if you play it that way that you're going to have higher good days, but you're also going to have lower bad days, because if your ladder misses, you're just losing 3 or 4 bets versus 1. When I first started, I was pretty aggressive and I would play all of them. But I know I'm kind of in the minority when it comes to that. I know, Dime, I don't know how you approach that when you first started. I'll actually let you talk on that.
Yeah, when I first started, I would basically just find, so if it was a ladder of 3 different spreads, I would just find whatever one had the largest EV bet and then just bet that one at the recommended unit size. Like Jeff said, though, now that I'm limited, I'll just hit all 3 for as much as they let me. But when you're in that bankroll building process, obviously an EV bet is good no matter what, but you do want to control how many units you're putting down. Jeff is definitely a little more aggressive than I have been. So my max is always like 3 units. I'm sure he's probably placed 5 unit bets before when he was growing his bankroll. When you're betting EV bets, as long as you're not crazy, like mismanaging your bankroll crazy, it's you're not going to kill yourself. But I don't like overexposing myself more than 3 units on a correlated play. So that's just how I would look at it. And we got one bet here on DraftKings, which is a Lions first quarter under. And some reason I don't see Mathwin's name on this. I don't know what's going on with that.
Because we're running up the score Monday night, and me and Cal are going to be there to make sure they run up the score. I know Cal just jumped in here.
Oh, yeah. Is Cal going?
Yeah, Cal's got season tickets too.
Oh, you going to meet up with him?
Potentially.
That'd be sweet.
We
got a couple.
We found out we go to
fans.
Yeah, we got a couple smart people in here, Brayton.
I'm actually gonna
Saints fans, but
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place this bet. We have a lot. Brayton's already under this. We have a decent amount of people already on this one. I'll like it. If you're hey, so I know we always remove our emotions from our betting, but if you really like this play, would you avoid it?
No, I'd be on this one at almost 3%, under 6.5, 24. I guess we're 48 hours, 2 days out.
True.
So the thing with me is like the two things that you have going here is team totals have lower limits than game totals. Quarter bets have lower limits than full game. So you've got the double whammy of not only a first quarter bet, but a first quarter with a single team. So I would want to see probably, like, this is borderline for me. I'd probably want to see a 3% edge to play a quarter with a team total in.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a good bet. I think it's an awful bet, but it's a good bet.
Yeah. No, I was kind of more asking, like, especially just being a Lions fan, like, will you bet against them? Like, no problem. If it's a good play.
Yes. I like money as much as I like my fandom.
Yeah. So, like, I'm the same way where it's the Patriots, so I don't expect them to win a game anyway. And betting against them usually works pretty well. But if I go to a game and I have multiple units on the other team to win, I can still just like separate myself from the money. That's like to me, EV betting is kind of like a business. It's separate from my emotions. I'll still go to that game and root for the Pats and hope that all my bets lose. That's just how I am. But a lot of people can't kind of bet against their team and still root for their team. Just
correct. I will have all the money on the other team, and I will still just be a diehard Lions fan in the stands.
Love it.
But when it works out, like last week when I was at the Big House for the Michigan game and all the money was on Michigan, those are the best days.
Yeah, when you get the double. You're either walking out of there real sad or real happy.
Correct. I guess it ended really well for me. It could have ended very poorly for me.
All right, some really good plays popping up on FanDuel. We'll see if these are live. I bet you they got moved, but kind of exactly the chart we want to see. Rockies, Dodgers, under 10.5 runs, plus 116 odds. Pinnacle just dropped from 114 all the way down to 104. So 10-cent movement by them. Bookmaker is still at 110. So this is a really good play. 3.7% EV with a sharp hook dropping. We'll see if we can get on this one. These are bets that move really quick when the sharp hooks are dropping. So yeah, so that one is completely dead. The odds change to plus 102. So do not take this bet if you don't beat this fair value number. So this fair value for this bet we have priced at 108. So if I went into the sports book and it was priced at 109, it would be a slight edge still. So just because the odds move doesn't mean it's a bad bet, but this one moved way too much for it to be good anymore. But that's perfect example of you finding good plays. If you see a play you like and then you go in there and the odds have dropped, obviously you're not going to be able to place that bet, but it's kind of just confirmation that you did find a good bet. We had I don't know, you guys probably weren't betting much baseball, but I know me and most of the other guys in the Discord, we had the Rockies and Dodgers over, and they went off. So I think I had like 4 bets on all the overs. I had like over 11, over 12.5, over 13. I had a pretty good day yesterday just from that bet cashing.
I'm still betting run lines, not as much totals.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this one too on MGM. Colorado Rockies plus 2.5 at plus 100. Really small EV play, but Pinnacle has dropped their odds down to minus 110. So this is something I'll take.
Another good question in chat from Gabriel. asked, do you take EV bets regardless of how far away the game is, or do you wait until closer to game time in order to wait for more accurate lines after lineups injuries are announced? There's no blueprint to this, Gabriel. It's a like the further away you are, the higher EV you want to see, and the better the chart. The closer to game time, you're right. You can like the confidence that you can have in the line being super accurate. The closer it gets to game time, the better chance you have of not getting negative line movement against you. So the closer it is, the more confident you can be. The further away, it's not a bad bet. But you definitely want to see a higher EV percentage or a good chart to take bets further out. Yeah, and it also depends on the market.
I was just about to say, it depends on the sport and the market, because like baseball, we've all experimented with playing it the day before, and it's just really not worth playing. So baseball day of, but college football and the NFL, I'll play. Most of the lines come out the Sunday, after the Sunday games are over, the lines for next week come out. And if I find value there, I play it. Obviously, if you bet it that early in the week, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of injuries happening, and either the market might move with you or it might move against you in a big way. So you're opening yourself up to a lot of volatility. But the way I see it is, you have that edge at that moment when that bet pops up. A lot of these possible injuries are already kind of factored in. So place that bet when you have the value. You might want to wait for a little bit of a larger edge. And for the most part, I'll play a week early for football for the most part, because we can't really predict line movement. So take the value when it's there.
That's how I look at it. From it being sort of a volume game, I try to take as early as I can see football and throughout the week. And by Saturday morning, my bets are pretty much done for the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't bet too much. Like once the stream's done, I'll probably barely bet, and then tomorrow morning for football, I'll probably bet a little bit more too. But pretty much, I get all my bets in during the week for the most part. So I'll just touch on this NFL player prop bot. This is for Caesars here. We have Tyler Johnson over 13.5 longest reception. We're getting plus 104 on Caesars here. And my two favorite books when it comes to devigging for player props are FanDuel and Bet Online. Down here, you can see which books were used in the devig process. So FanDuel has us at minus 118. No Bet Online price here, but we're also working in the price of MGM, Pinnacle, ESPN Bet, and Bovada. So I really like this because we're getting 22 cents compared to FanDuel on this one. So this is a play I definitely would take. I'm not going to actually put this one in my slip because Caesars will just have me down to like $10. So I'm not even going to load it up.
I'll take it for you.
Thank you.
Caesars used to be so good too. Like I want to say it was like fall of 23. They just started smashing people with limits. But before then, you could get off massive bets on Caesars with no limits.
Oh, here's a good one on Fanatics. Dolphins Titans full game, over 30 points for the Dolphins versus Tennessee total. Almost 2% EV to Circa. They're priced at minus 110 here. We're getting plus 105 odds. So Fanatics doesn't have a website, so I'm going to pop up on my phone and try to hit this bet. I said I'd maxed out my account. I think I have like $50 left, so this will be my last bet for Fanatics.
I'm down to zero.
I have nothing left in Fanatics. It is gone.
I think I need to withdraw from Caesars because I can't place any bets.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any money in my Caesars account anymore.
Yep.
A nice one just pinged on Canby Books too. Little Kansas State, 3 sharp lines. It's only about a 1% edge, but you have all 3 sharps in agreement.
All right, I'll pull
bookmakers even a little lower.
I'll pull up a Canby book 1 second. Oh, they only let me bet $38, so I still have $12 in there.
Dude, I still can't believe how much I can get off on Bet Parks. I just got a whole unit off on this play.
I have Bally Bet, and I haven't EV betted on it because I heard they're crazy bad at limits, just like the rest. So the Bet Parks, you said it's on?
Yeah, Parks or Rivers. It should be on both since they're both Canby.
Yeah, so
it's just Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Kansas State -6 at 100, at plus 100.
There's a million bets in this book. Kansas State -6, yeah. Yeah, so we also see you get the timetables down here. So it looks like around 10 o'clock, Pinnacle dropped, and even Bookmaker kind of looks like they're lowering their odds. But this is exactly what you want to see. We have 3 sharp books in this DVIG. Bet Perix is a Canby book. Canby is just an odds maker that sells their odds to a bunch of these small sports books. So Ballybet, Bet Perix, and a couple other books. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're all using the same odds. But yeah, great play here. We have 3 sharp books, so it gives you a lot of confidence.
If you live in Michigan, get this book because it's the same lines as Bet Rivers, but it doesn't limit as hard as Bet Rivers, so you can get off a lot more volume.
Do you have Bet Rivers in Michigan too?
Yep, I can get about 75 cents off on a bet at Bet Rivers.
That's weird that they have 2 Canby books. Like they're offering the same odds, just different user interface, basically.
Well, yeah. So like Canby's just a company that these lazy sports books hire to set their lines so that the sports books don't have to worry about it. So they set lines for a bunch of different books around the country.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure Canby also takes care of how they find profitable bettors to limit people too. So I feel like that's why Canby books are always, they have some type of AI that just picks you up when you're placing good bets. Yeah, Canby books are
unfortunately, when books have all that information on what plays you're playing, it's not hard to find us.
When you see
CLV consistently.
Yeah, when you see when a book sees 200 accounts hit the same line and they're all profitable bettors, you're going to get grouped into that profitable bettor category. There's really no way to avoid limits. Like I said, me and Jeff have been doing it for a while. We're still able to get off sometimes over. I mean, if Jeff gets a lot more off than me, but I'm able to get over $10,000 off in a day still. So, you don't have to be afraid of limits. Everyone wants to avoid them, but the only way to truly avoid them is to lose money, and no one wants to do that. So I recommend just making the money while you can. Another good point too is like EV betting or sports betting in general for online betting is kind of new. So these edges we have today, I don't know where the future goes with EV betting. So you got to strike while the iron's hot and make your money now, because next year might be completely different. I don't know.
Yeah, Cal, limits aren't bad at all. Like on that play I was just talking about, I got a whole unit off, which is $300 for me. So limits are not anywhere near what Bet Rivers is.
Might open up my Bally book and see if I can hit these. I should start hitting them. I don't know why I don't. I'm just afraid that Bally bet's going to do the Bet Rivers trick on me and just put me down to pennies, but
it's going to happen eventually, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like I was trying to just play the promos and stuff, but
oh, you can do that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play the promos for a while until they catch on. This is one we hit earlier. The Indiana minus 5.5 at minus 140 popped up again. Looks like I think it's about the same value we played it before. If the value changes, the bot will reping it. Or it looks like maybe FanDuel took their line down and then opened up again. So that's probably the bot cleared the bet because FanDuel didn't have a line, and then FanDuel opened back up at 140 minus 140 again, which is kind of weird, but still presenting value to the market and Pinnacle.
I just copied Jeff's 11-leg parlay lotto in DraftKings.
Oh, nice.
Those are fun. I'm trying to be like Dimes and hit one.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I hit that one. Six touchdown scores. Week 1 of the NFL. I had like 150 copies on that bet. It was 100-1 parlay. Now, if I post a parlay on Pickett, it just gets blown up because everyone thinks it's so good at betting. Parlays, I hate to say it, it's just luck. I can make money straight betting all day, but for me to hit a 100-1 bet, probably not going to happen again this season. But we'll have a little fun with it. Here's another. This is a really good. Yeah, Bet Perix is like just so many good plays, but another chart that is just pretty good looking. Well, this is actually a little weird. Never mind. It looked good at first, but Pinnacle's kind of weighing down the market here. They're at like 165, but Circa and Bookmaker are much higher odds here. So probably a play I would actually avoid, even though it looked good. just double check the charts. You always want to make sure the retail book is above, better price than the Sharp books.
Here's a good question, Robbie. I'll throw it your way. What's your opinion on starting with a 2K bankroll in regards to positive EV or arbitrage? Do you think it's better to ARB and build your bankroll more than EV?
So I started with a $2,000 bankroll a year and a half ago. At the time, I had OddsJam, which was $200 a month for me. So that was 10% of my bankroll. So using OddsJam was dangerous for me because I was giving up. So I had to make guaranteed profits basically to make sure I got my $200 back. So I first started by doing a little bit of arbitrage betting. I was just trying to make $5 to $10 a day just so I could pay for my membership. And then I was focusing on EV betting. But honestly, I don't recommend arbitrage betting at all. If you're trying to do this long term, you're just going to get your accounts limited a lot quicker when you're arbitrage betting. If you're someone that is kind of just looking for a quick side hustle, you're trying to make a few $1,000s, then arbitrage all your books and do it for a month or two and make a few grand and be done with it. But if you're trying to be a sports bettor long term and make profits for years, then I would just stick to EV betting. And luckily for you guys, we built this Discord, which is kind of the combination of all the different websites that we've used, and we've took the best information and put it on Discord that just flags bets, and it's really cheap for $30 a month. You're not dipping into a $2,000 bankroll. It's only a couple units there, so it's not really a big deal. So I would just stick to EV betting, take advantage of the promos. Sometimes for new bettors too, I just recommend playing higher EV. Like I'll bet down to 1%, but if you want to stick above 2%, 3%, also you might want to look at what type of bets you're placing. When I first started, I wouldn't place a bet over plus 150 odds just to decrease some of your variance there. So just a couple tips for new bettors starting out. But yeah, I would stick to EV betting if you're trying to do it long term.
Well, and the other side to that is if you're going to ARB, you're just severely capping your potential returns. Like, yes, it is ensuring profit, but EV betting, if done correctly, I think, based on the results between Dime, myself, Brayton, the other guys that are mods and owners here, it works long term if you do it correctly. So you're going to have swings of losing days, but your upside is so much higher just EV betting versus ARBing.
Yeah, I think people are so afraid of the downswings. That's really, obviously arbitrage betting it sounds so great when you first discover arbitrage betting because, hey, you're guaranteeing profits. There's a lot of downsides. They don't want to tell you that you're going to get limited on some books. And say when you're arbitrage betting, you're placing massive amounts of money on both sides. So if you have a $1,000 bankroll, if you place one arbitrage bet a day, you might be able to bet $500 on both sides. But if one of those lines lock up on you and you can't get the same odds, now you're losing money, or you have a $500 wager sitting out there with no hedge. So a lot of people I know that have tried arbitrage betting, they've taken one or two big mistakes and it's like cost them. Then you have to take like 10 more arbitrage bets just to get your money back. So there's a lot of negatives that people don't want to talk about with arbitrage betting, I think. In big picture, it sounds great. It's free money. It's easy, but there's just a lot to think about before you start it. And we don't have we get that question a lot too about if we have an arbitrage bot. I don't know if we'll ever even build one just because we don't really want to push people that direction, but it'd be cool to build some like calculators, arbitrage calculators. Sometimes if you want to hedge out of a bet or something like that, you could use a calculator like that. Braves, here's another one. Just a Pinnacle D-Vig, but we're seeing Pinnacle kind of drop here. So this is a play I would take. Braves Royals over 8.5 plus 125 on ESPN bet. Did you guys say how many bets you got out today already? I don't know if we talked about that. I know I said I went over mine, but
so mine's higher than this now because I've been jumping on some as we've been going. But No judgment. I have 165 out without refreshing Pickett.
Without the
So I'm probably going to be pushing 200 or more. Depends if my wife's at work all day, so I might be doing some live betting today too. So I could be pushing 200, 250 by the end of the day.
Nice. That's
I wish, man. I got 38 with about 20 units for today.
That's funny. Yeah.
I'd like to see that about 60 or 70, to be honest, but I guess this is where I'm at.
Is that kind of where you've been at for volume over?
Yeah, on Saturdays. Yeah. For Saturdays, I get a lot more on Sundays. But yeah, I'm almost struggling to get as much volume as I'd like on Saturdays.
Yeah, well, I think the little adjustment we made with our college football prop, where you're probably not getting as many pings, but the quality is probably better.
Right.
DraftKings ping. Let's see. Here's a huge.
It is cool to see. It is cool to see when. I mean, this is the first time I've had over half of my bankroll completely out bet. So it is, it is getting there to where we're churning these bankrolls quicker during football.
A lot of people have the same question. Oh, we got pings on this tennis match like crazy. These lines are already probably gone. I just hit this one up. Actually, we have a couple people taking these bets, so now they're dead, but never mind. Yeah, so we've talked about this pretty much every stream too, but I'll bring it up again. People being afraid to maybe bet their entire bankroll in one day. Like I said, as long as you're spread out, as long as you don't have 20 units on the same game, then it doesn't matter. You should be trying to roll over your bankroll as much as possible. If we're placing 3% EV bets and you can get through 100% of your bankroll every day, then you're pretty much gaining 3% of your bankroll every day, and you can scale ridiculously fast. If you're able to bet your whole bankroll every day and make 3%, then you would over double your bankroll by the end of every month.
Yep.
That's what people don't understand with EV betting too, is they'll look at your stats and they'll say I made 3% ROI this year betting. They will say you could have just invested in the stock market and made 10% on that money. But you got to look at it as I started sports betting with $2,000. That was my original investment. I didn't make, if I put that in the stock market and made 5%, I would only be up, $100 or whatever. But if I, obviously I put $2,000 in sports betting, and then over the year and a half, I've turned it into $54,000. So you're making 3% ROI in every bet that you invest into sports betting. It's not, all the money you put in there. I think I actually just hit close to $1 million bet.
I just pulled my export for the first time just to see what it would look like. And the same. I started with about $1,100 bankroll, but in 6 months, I've had a 225,000 bet. So your 4% ROI is on that 225, not on that 1,000.
That's the crazy thing too, is you didn't have $220,000 to invest, but you're still
right.
Yeah, so that's no one understands. That's like the big part of EV betting and scaling, is it's so different. You play on ESPN, Western Kentucky plus 7.5. This is all three sharp books factored into this line. Also, it's not graphing them, but they're there. So really good play even at that low EV. Western Kentucky plus 7.5 on ESPN bet. Oh, that's against Boston College. I can't bet it because I'm from Massachusetts. So if you're not from Massachusetts, hit that one.
That's the one thing we get asked a lot too is, sometimes the charts look weird or don't match the plays above. They pull. So the provider that we use has odds and then historical odds. The historical odds are what the graphs are made from. So if the historical odds haven't updated, the chart may look slightly different than the play. Always trust the numbers in the statistics box over what the chart looks like. So like Dimes was just talking about how that one had 3 sharps to it. It definitely does have 3 sharps to it. Just the historical odds haven't updated with the other sharps yet.
Yeah, that's why I think we should try to add like listing under the stats the sharp book prices, because those will be pulled right when we come up with this equation, instead of banking on the graph and historical data to show us the prices. So definitely, I'd like to make that adjustment soon once we finish building everything. Give people a little bit more confidence too when they're placing bets. They're not sure which sharp book is actually being used. All right, that's most of the plays I'm finding here. I think you guys good to wrap it up.
Yeah, we bet on Western Kentucky Boston College. We have one on ESPN that just pinged with 3 sharps.
I think that's the one I just called out.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking about that chart where it's showing the 3 sharps, but it's not actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Pay attention.
My wife was texting me.
All right. All right. We'll sign off here. Weekends are make or break. Jeff's going to be a happy man or not tomorrow, so we'll see. But all right.
Yep. If you hear me in the Discord later, you know it's a good day. If you don't, you know
if
why.
he goes quiet, it's problems. But all right, guys, go make some money. Thanks for joining us. See you
Later, fellas.
See ya.